Good morning, this is Mr. Lowry, and today's objective is 3.8b. We will analyze a realistic fiction by explaining the relationships among the major and minor characters. We're also going to be reviewing character traits. Character traits are adjectives that describe people. Last week we were talking about adjectives and how adjectives are words that describe nouns to describe how things look, feel, smell, how big they are, what color they are. These are adjectives that just describe how people act. Brave, timid, optimistic, pessimistic, kind, arrogant. Here you see positive character traits, and on this side we have negative character traits. So when we're reading stories, we need to make sure that we're paying attention to these character traits. They tell us a lot about the characters. And character traits are the character's actions, thoughts, feelings, and words. Here's some examples of character traits. If we read the text here, we can see, again, looking at the character's actions, thoughts, feelings, and words, we can find out what their character trait might be. It says here, no one wants to play with Jackie because she always tells everyone else what to do. She insists that everyone do things her way and will not listen to anyone else's ideas. So we see here, no one wants to play with Jackie. She's always telling everyone else what to do. She insists that everyone do things her way and will not listen to anyone else's ideas. Which word best describes Jackie? Jackie is bossy. You could definitely say she's impolite too. We don't know that she's really cruel. That's something like really mean. But we know she tells everyone else what to do. That is our context clue to tell us that she's bossy. Maybe that would have something to do with the theme at the end of the story. Maybe something happens to her where she decides not, or they teach her a lesson about not being bossy so you have friends to play with. I don't know, but looking at those character traits, it can definitely tell us about the plot and the theme of a story. This one says, Dwayne is always asking questions. He wants to know all about how things work and why things are the way they are. Which word best describes Dwayne? Is he weird, creative, or curious? If you know what the word curious means, it means that you want to know about something. Curious George always got himself in trouble in the stories because he's always so curious. He's not a bad monkey, he's just curious. A lot of kids are curious and they want to know all about how things work and why things are the way they are. So the best character trait here for Dwayne is curious. This one says Miranda doesn't mind doing chores around the house. Sometimes she does the dishes without even being asked. She also spends time helping her little sister with her homework. Which word best describes Miranda? Is it generous, helpful, or proud? She doesn't mind doing chores around the house. Sometimes she does dishes without even being asked. She also spends time helping her little sister with her homework. Helpful means someone who helps a lot. Generous is someone who also, it could mean you're helping people out a lot or letting people borrow things or use things. So those are pretty close, but in this case, I'm definitely going to look at this word helping and answer helpful. She's helpful. One more. Thomas pushed his way to the front of the line. He grabbed his lunch tray without saying thank you to the server. While he was eating, he talked with his mouth full and left a mess of crumbs when he was done. Which word best describes Thomas? He's not saying thank you. He's not following good rules in the cafeteria. He's eating with his mouth full. Is he rude, disgusting, or hungry? I don't think he's hungry because he's eating. But he's not using good manners. that usually means someone's rude. They're rude because they don't have good manners, or they need to practice better manners. So I think the character trait here for Thomas is rude. Again, character traits are adjectives that describe the character and how they interact with other characters in the story. These traits help us to understand the plot of the story and the theme. Just remember, the plot is the most important events of a story. I'm going to read you a story here. It's called Maya and Tori. And when I'm doing so, I'm going to model for you how we can identify the character traits and how they affect their relationships with other characters. First, we have this story. The title is Maya and Tori. Maya and Tori were sisters. Tori was 4 years older than Maya. She was the star of the girls' basketball team. Every day after school, Tori would practice at the local outdoor basketball court. This is the older sister. Tori, she's good at basketball, and every day she practices. Maya wanted to learn how to play basketball so she could one day be a star like her sister. All week long, Maya had been asking Tori to teach her how to play. Each day she would beg, "Come on, Tori, let me come with you." So here we have little sister wants to be like big sister. She wants to learn to play basketball like big sister. After about 2 weeks of Maya's pleading, Tori ruffled her younger sister's hair and said, "Okay, Maya, today you can come with me to the court. I'll show you how to dribble." A second later, the girls started to feel raindrops. Then the skies opened up. "Oh no," Tori exclaimed. "This rainstorm means no basketball for either of us. I'm sorry, Maya." She's apologizing to Maya. Maya was disappointed that she wouldn't get her first basketball lesson, but she cheered up when Tori took her inside to play checkers. Filling out this chart here, a character traits chart, we're going to look at the actions, thoughts, and feelings, and words of these characters to get an idea of what their character trait is, and also understand the relationship between the two characters. So I look at the little sister Maya. Actions, she begs Tori to teach her to play basketball. Her thoughts, Tori is very special. We know that. We know that she looks up to her bigger sister. She wanted to learn to play basketball so she could one day be a star like her sister. Like most little brothers and sisters, she looks up to her older sister. Feelings, she loves Tori. We know that too. She's begging her all the time to spend time with her. She wants to be like her. She loves her. And then the words we see at the end of the story, "Come on, Tori, let me come with you," she begs. Now, when I'm looking at the other side, or I'm looking at the character traits of Tori, the older sister, I can also tell what are some of the actions that she does every day. When I look at actions of Tori in the first paragraph, what it tells me is every day after school, Tori would practice. I know that she's a basketball star. She practices a lot. So that tells me about her character. She is a basketball star. And since she practices every day here, I'm thinking for thoughts, she knows that it is important to practice. Feelings, I too think that since we know that she knows her sister wants to come with her really badly to practice. And then also I see at this part of the story when it starts to rain and the girls can't practice, she says, "Oh no, I'm sorry we won't be able to play." Here she's apologizing to her little sister. So that tells me too she cares about her sister. She loves her sister. She loves Maya. And then the words, and also you could put here, I know that she loves her because even though it rained, she took her to go play checkers. The words The only words that we see that actually come from her, well, we see no. We see her, she's upset and she's saying sorry. And here she also says, okay, Maya, today you could come with me to the court. So again, but I would like to stick those words, I'm sorry, Maya. And then she goes and plays checkers with her. So I can look at those, how those two characters interact. I know that they have a good relationship. Both of them love each other. Thinking about the theme, when we analyze the relationships of characters, it helps us to comprehend the plot and the theme of a story. What do you think the theme of the story that we just read is? What would be an important message here in this story? I might say something like, perhaps it's important to help your little brother and sister because they look up to you a whole lot. So you could say family is important. Maybe it's something like little sisters look up to their big sisters. Maybe always be kind and considerate to your little brothers and sisters, knowing that they look up to you. Those would be some good themes in that story. We're going to read a story called Cocoliso, and this is a realistic fiction. When we're talking about a realistic fiction, it's going to be a story with made-up characters, of course, because it's a story, but it's something that could happen in real life. Realistic? It could happen in real life. The setting is real. The characters could be real people. There is a problem and solution. And the author does not use I, me, or my because there's actually a narrator. So just like I said, the setting is a real place. This is a real place. We live here in Texas next to Dallas. But if you fly in a plane for 2 hours and 42 minutes, you can actually get to this island, Cuba, which is a country here. And actually, Cienfuegos is the city that's close to the setting of our story, but this is actually where it takes place. Parque Nacional Ciénaga de Zapata. Ciénaga means like wetlands or swamp. Here's pictures of this place that really does exist. Again, it's a swamp or wetlands where there's a lot of water, there's a lot of plants, and a lot of animals. Again, remember our objective today, we're going to be looking for the character traits and how the characters interact with each other, the major characters with minor characters. It says here, Alejandro dreams of flying. He dreams of being an airline pilot, but Alejandro lives in the Ciénaga de Zapata, a swamp in western Cuba. The Ciénaga is far from any city or town. We live so far from an airport, sighs Alejandro to Papi. One day, Ale, says Papi with a smile, using Alejandro's nickname, one day you will fly. Look for details in the text that help you understand the relationship between Alejandro and Papi. I can tell Alejandro's a little down in the dumps about not being close to an airport, and here you can see his dad is trying to cheer him up. Mama and Papi work in the Ciénaga as park rangers. They often sit with Alejandro on the porch and watch the sunlight dance on the water. They listen to the hum of insects and the sweet songs of the birds. His parents teach Alejandro about the swamp. We have 15 different kinds of mammals here, says Mama. And the zunzuncito, the smallest bird in the world. If I could fly, says Alejandro, that would be amazing. Again, look for details in the text that show how Alejandro gets along with his parents. I would pause this and read again paragraph 5. Again, I'm going to have to speed this up because the video only lasts 15 minutes long. But I'm going to leave it here so you can read this page and pause it if you need to so you can read the questions. Again, this is the last page I'm going to read. Again, pause it, please, and read the text and the question. Here is the assignment in Google Classroom. You're going to find it underneath reading. And there it is. The video will be right here in case you need to see it.